Niners fans, it's about that time. 7:25 on a Thursday night. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And once again, it's a pleasure to be on with the faithful, the Niner Empire. Some of the best fans, y'all know it, in the NFL. Hopefully, everyone's had a great week so far. We are less than 6 hours from a payday Friday, and y'all know it ain't nothing better than a payday Friday. I appreciate everyone coming through on a Thursday night. Obviously, you're here. You saw the thumbnail. We're talking about 49ers and Seahawks week 4 matchup. Obviously, the Seahawks come into this game 1-2. The Niners are 2-1. It's going to be a hell of a game. And shout out to everyone watching Jay in the Bay Facebook, Jay in the Bay YouTube channel. And let's say what's up to the people in them comments. So first we got Niner Sickness. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Niner Sickness. He says, what's up, Jay in the Bay? And the rest of the faithful. Big Play Slave. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, yo, Monica, what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, Monica. She says, Jay, I miss you. What's good? Hey, I miss you being in the stream as well. Yeah, I got to do these streams later at night sometimes. I know you're up at this time, as a lot of people are, but I appreciate you joining the stream. And we do have a special guest today. He goes by the name of Aidan Pham. He represents the Hawks Talk on IG, Twitter, and on YouTube as well. And let's welcome in Aidan Pham. And I gotta say, what's good? How you doing today, Aidan?
What's up, Jay? Happy to be here today.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. We've been following each other, on social media for a while, so it's good to finally meet, on live stream like this. And our teams are getting ready to play on Sunday. How confident are you about this game?
I mean, the Seahawks obviously wanted to difficult past couple of weeks, but it's an old-fashioned rival, NFC West rival. I feel like the Seahawks are gonna have their backs against the wall, and they're gonna be confident to play with that chip on their shoulder and get this win.
All righty, man. And first, I got to ask you, how long have you been doing YouTube? How long have you been talking about the Seahawks?
I started a little bit halfway through last season.
Okay.
Just watching football. I decided to make a couple of videos, and then it was fun, so I continued to do it.
Hey, that's dope. That seems to be your passion. And, I would say definitely continue doing it, man. There are a lot of Seattle Seahawks fan. And for those Seattle Seahawks fans that are in the chat right now, make sure you check out Aidan's YouTube channel and his social media. All of his info is in the links below in the description of the video. Make sure you check him out. And for those who are on the stream right now, make sure you leave a thumbs up for the video and make sure you subscribe to Jay in the Bay. I appreciate all the support. Now, when I saw this game on the schedule between the Niners and Seahawks, I thought the Seahawks would come into this game undefeated. I was definitely surprised that you guys are, 1 win, 2 losses. But what do you think the Seahawks can do to stop this losing streak, Aidan?
I mean, okay, first off, I'm going to start by saying this. It's not time to panic yet. It's a long season, a rough start, but everyone is still in it. But as far as how the Seahawks can stop this losing streak, I think defense has to play much better this week. We've got to pressure the QB. We have depth on the line. Carlos Dunlap, Darrell Taylor, Puna Ford. Our secondary is rough, so I feel like if we pressure Jimmy G, put some pressure on him, make him get rid of the ball quick, it'll take a lot of pressure off our secondary. We have to play much better in the second half. It's killed us every single week. Last week, we started off the game with the one good drive, and then DK was popping. And then second half, we went scoreless. So we play better in the second half. Defense has to do much better this week.
All right, yeah, and that seems to be an unfortunate trend for the Seahawks, where they get off to a good start in the first half, and for some reason in the second half they're not as good offensively. And I think the Seahawks will definitely have to play a full 60-minute game And the 49ers, we've had trouble getting off to good starts. So we're kind of opposite ends right there. Seahawks are good in the beginning of the games, and we kind of struggle to get a rhythm for whatever reason. Jimmy's a little inaccurate. The offensive line isn't giving him a clean pocket. So it'll be interesting to see, what gives in this game. But I got to say, what's good, the KD? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, KD. Hopefully you're having a great week. He says, hello, Jay and the Bay. I hope you had a wonderful Thursday. Same to you, KD. Same to you. Roberto, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Roberto. I know you're ready for the game on Sunday. I can't wait for this 105 kickoff. It cannot get here any sooner. Young Hitter, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Young Hitter. He says, what's good, Jay and the Bay? Hopefully you're having a wonderful, blessed evening. You do the same, Young Hitter. You do the same. And, obviously the Seahawks, they got Russell Wilson, future Hall of Fame quarterback, probably arguably the best Seahawks player of all time in you guys' franchise. You got a solid running.
Definitely, yeah.
You got wide receivers. But which offensive unit, in your opinion, needs to improve to get you guys back to 500?
Definitely the Seahawks offense, because like I said earlier, they struggle to finish in the pass, which is something unusual because when you think of Russell Wilson, you think of the Seahawks, you think you never count them out. They're always in the game, but for some reason we're slacking in the second half. But our offense, they play lights out in the first half, get shut out in the second half, and they're struggling to stay on the field. Way too many stops. DK and Tyler Lockett need to get going, and our offensive line, like last season, they're struggling. They're giving up 7 sacks already this season.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the offensive line? Are they a good unit this year? Are they struggling? What's the deal with their offensive line?
Well, I mean, we had the addition of Gabe Jackson from the trade with the Raiders. We're really low at center right now. Kyle Fuller is a backup coming in. Ethan Posick. I know a lot of people aren't very high on him, but Damian Lewis, Dwayne Brown, Gabe Jackson, we definitely have talent on the line. It's taking a while to click.
And that will be an interesting matchup on Sunday. The Seattle Seahawks offensive line against the Niners D line. I feel we have an advantage on both sides of the ball on our offense and our defensive line. I think we're a little bit better, and it'll be an interesting matchup between Nick Bosa, D Ford, Armstead, Kinlaw going up against the Seattle Seahawks offensive line, and I'm looking forward to that matchup. And I gotta say, what's good to David Renteria? He says, I think the 49ers win. I don't trust the Seahawks, the worst team in the division. Aidan, do you think the Seahawks are the worst team in the NFC West division?
Obviously, as I'm a Seahawks fan, I'm gonna say no. Right now, we're probably playing like it, but no, I'm still not very sold on the Cardinals this season. I know they're off to a good start, but I think in the long run, it's gonna be Seahawks, Rams, 49ers for that title.
And David is a Cardinals fan, and I know he's excited because they're 3-0. They're looking good, but they have a great match against the Rams this Sunday, so that's going to be an excellent game. I'm glad someone will lose, whoever it is. I'm glad they'll lose. That's for sure. But yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, the season is still young. There's 17 games this year. By no means is the season over or not. Honestly, even if the Seahawks lose this game this Sunday, I still think when you have Russell Wilson under center, I think anything is possible, and I still wouldn't count them out. That's for sure. Let's see. Monty Williams, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Monty. How's your day going, man? Thanks for tuning in. And on the defensive side of the ball, which unit do you think needs most improvement? Aidan.
Both secondaries, I feel like have struggled before, right, Jay? Your secondary last week against Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, they killed you guys on that final drive to set up that game-winning field goal, right?
Yeah, tough memories.
Yeah. I mean, but Seahawks have problems of their own. Like, Trey Flowers got burned so bad. It's probably his worst game of his career. But based off of the ability of the line to get pressure on the QB, I think the 49ers have the edge on the Seahawks on that one. They have a much better defensive line. The Seahawks defensive line coming into this season, they're supposed to be a lot better than they were last season, but it's looking like the same performance. They started last season horrible. It looks like the same this season so far, and for some reason, we can't get pressure on the QB, on the quarterback. So that makes our cornerback spot really bad right now because they're already bad. But the fact that we're making them play coverage for so long because we can't get pressure on the QB makes them look worse.
Yeah, and I love to say a secondary's best friend is the pass rush. And you guys, took our sack leader from us last year. How dare you guys do that? You guys signed Kerry Hyder Jr. and he was our leading sack man last year. He had 8 sacks for us last year. I was sad to see Kerry Hyder go. How is he playing this year?
I believe he's hurt right now, so I don't think he'll be playing in Sunday's game. But
Okay.
yeah, based off of his performance last year, I thought he did a good job filling in for some injuries on that defensive line. Against the Colts, I thought he did a nice job getting to the QB. Made the sacks probably weren't there, but the QB pressures, they were definitely there.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that will be an interesting matchup, the Seahawks defensive line against the 49ers offensive line, especially with Jimmy G. Obviously, he doesn't play well when, his throws are hurried or he feels rushed in the pocket. But I think our offensive line should be able to create time for him in the pocket. And if he has time, I think with our weapons, I think he should be able to make some throws. And I don't know about you, but I think this will be a high-scoring game. I think Jimmy – yeah, and I think Jimmy, because honestly, both defenses are kind of, our secondary is banged up. We're pulling guys off the street to play. That's a huge deal going up against DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Russell Wilson. So I would be surprised if we're able to slow down the Seahawks offense. I think it'll just come down to whoever creates the least amount of turnovers on the offensive side of the ball and also field position and things like that. But I think it'll be a very, very, very close and competitive game. That's for sure. David is offering.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, David says that the Seahawks always look great in the early season, not looking good. The Seahawks are very overrated. I guess we'll see. The season is still early. And I know, obviously, the Seahawks have a tough match against the 49ers this Sunday. And the Seahawks are a desperate team. They don't want to start the first quarter of the season 1-3. And I'm sure they're going to, try their hardest to win this game at Levi Stadium. I got to say, what's good to Rams House. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. You guys have a hell of a matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. I'm looking forward to that game. I think it's probably on the same time as the Niners and Seahawks. So, fortunately, I won't be able to watch it live, but that's going to be a hell of a game. And I'm glad one of you guys will lose. That's for sure. I got to say, hot diggity dog to Corey Davis with that $5 super chat, man. I appreciate you. KD says Jay in the Bay. I think Jimmy G is to pump in the first half, and it takes him a while to get his adrenaline to settle down. The more play he gets better. I'm thinking the same thing, KD. Jimmy's very excited. He gets nervous. And I think that's up to the play caller, Kyle Shanahan, to get him some plays, to get his nerves down. Because in the beginning of series, we've noticed there's been a lot of 3 and outs, and we can't have that going up against the Seattle Seahawks offense. They're a high-powered offense, and we're going to have to score. We're going to have to keep Russell Wilson and that offense off the field. But, yeah, he's got to control his adrenaline, maybe get some nice, easy throws. Hopefully we'll be able to protect Jimmy G in this game versus the Seahawks, and I think that'll definitely go a long way for sure. Now, as a Seahawks fan, Aidan, which 49ers offensive player are you most concerned about?
Okay. George Kittle, definitely a big weapon for Jimmy G. However, my most concerned offensive player on that 49ers team right now is Debo Samuel. 20 receptions, over 300 yards so far this season. He's popping off. And I'm not a big fan of this matchup of Debo Samuel versus our Seahawks secondary because most of the attention, of course, goes to George Kittle and how we need to stop him. But the 49ers got a weapon of their own. It's Debo Samuel. This guy is a beast. I have a feeling that the Seahawks cornerbacks, if they play the way I think they might, Debo Samuel is gonna have a good game.
All right, yeah, and I agree with that. Debo is having an excellent third season with the 49ers. I like what he's doing. And also, of course, you can't forget about George Kittle, the best tight end in the NFL, and the Ayuk show. Brandon Ayuk, he's getting more acclimated with the offense. Hopefully, that hamstring of his is getting healthier and healthier as the day go by. But we're going to need our offense to really hit on all cylinders in order to win this game. That's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like this game is going to come down to whose defense obviously plays better and then whose offense can actually produce more.
Right. No, absolutely. Because obviously turnovers can win or lose a game. And with Jimmy G last week, he had 2 turnovers, a fumble, and the interception, and we still got the lead with what 30 plus seconds left. But obviously that didn't help us in winning. So turnovers will be key. And we had we didn't have a lot of penalties, but we had several defensive pass interference penalties, and those usually are a lot of yardage, 20, 30 plus yards, and they totally flip the field position. So we gotta tone those down, not have penalties against the Seattle Seahawks wide receivers, and I think that'll definitely lead to a more successful Sunday for the 49ers.
Now, Jay, I got to ask you, which Seahawks player are you most afraid of?
On the offense, on the Seattle
Yes,
Seahawks offense,
offensively.
it's definitely Russell Wilson. He's just been a thorn in our side ever since he was drafted out of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a problem. Even when you get pressure on him, he's able to, move out of the pocket, extend plays with his legs, and he gets rid of the ball, and he allows his receivers to get open. Also, DK Metcalf. Honestly, it's the trio. It's DK Metcalf, it's Lockett. Those receivers are a problem, and we're without K'Wan Williams, our corner, and also Jason Verrett, another corner. So that'll be an interesting matchup between our corners and the Seattle Seahawks wide receivers. And you can't forget about Chris Carson. I think he's a good back when healthy. But I think we'll be honestly. I feel more confident. I feel more confident about our run defense going up against Carson than a pass defense. That's for sure.
Yeah, Chris Carson last week had 6.7 yards per carry average.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And and if we allow that this week, we're going to be in trouble. So we definitely need to cut that in half, maybe him average about 3 yards per carry. So that way the Seahawks can't just win the time of possession and keep the clock going. So, But yeah, great question. I got to say, what's good to Birdman 951. I appreciate the kind words, man. Congratulating me on reaching 100,000 views on Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. I appreciate the shout out. And David says, Kerry Hyder's a 1-year wonder. What are you talking about, man? We'll see, man. The season is still young. I appreciate Young Hitter for coming through. He says, just wanted to stop in real quick. Have a wonderful night, Jay and the Bay. Hey, I appreciate you coming through, man. And he says, go 49ers Empire. I appreciate that, man. Now, let's go to the other side of the ball. Which 49ers defensive player are you most concerned about as a Seahawks fan?
This one for me, nice and simple. Fred Warner, arguably one of the best linebackers in the NFL. He can play little pass coverage as well as play the run. He has the ability to be a game changer. So no doubt in my mind, Fred Warner has the ability to ruin this game for the Seahawks offense.
Hey, I agree. Fred Warner is a beast. I think he's the best linebacker in the NFL. No disrespect to Bobby Wags. Wags, he's definitely been one of the best linebackers, basically with the Legion of Boom. And he's still playing great. But I like Fred Warner. And I want to see, honestly, I want to see Nick Bosa. He didn't have a great game last week, but I don't know if you saw that stat with Aaron Rodgers versus the 49ers. I think he was 16 of 16 passing when he threw the ball under 2.5 seconds. So obviously he got rid of the ball really fast. It negated the 49ers pass rush, and that went in Green Bay's favor. So hopefully the Seahawks don't do that.
I was gonna say that's something Russell Wilson needs to do. He's got to get rid of that ball really quick. This is not gonna be one of those games where he's gonna have so much time in the pocket because this 49ers defensive line can eat. they're going to be after him all day long. So he's got to get rid of that ball quick.
And that is one knock on Russell Wilson. There's no doubt I think he's still like a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the NFL, but he loves that big play. He loves to throw the ball down the field, but in order to do that, you have to have time in the pocket. And going up against this Niners D-line, he may not have that time, and maybe we can get some sacks on him. But yeah, I think he's definitely going to have to get rid of the ball very, very quickly. David Renteria, he's offering his input on the 49ers secondary. He says the 49ers secondary is not too good. Yeah, we're definitely struggling in that area, but if we're able to get a pass rush, it'll definitely help the secondary. And that's something that the Seahawks want to do as well. They want to be able to get pressure on Jimmy, make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how you feel, Aidan, but football to me is won and lost in the trenches. It's all about the offensive line.
Definitely, yes, yeah.
Yeah, the offensive line can't block. We saw what happened like in the Super Bowl with Pat Mahomes going up against the Bucs. The offensive line couldn't block for him. He was running all over the place. That's what can happen if your offensive line can't block. And then if you can't get after the pass rusher, you look like TB12. You're looking to the right. You're looking to the left. You're calling Giselle. You have all the time in the world in the pocket, and that's also what can happen. So
yeah, no. I as a football player, my coach always says if the line does good, our offense does good. So the key ingredient to success on the offensive side of the ball is that line down in the trenches.
Absolutely. And you mentioned you play football. What position do you play?
I'm a center and defensive end.
Oh, cool. All right, man. No, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
I was going to say, he mentioned the 49ers secondary, and, Emmanuel Mosley came back last week. He missed the first 2 games. He looked solid. It'll be interesting to see. He's probably going to match up against DK. I think that should be a solid matchup for him. He is a tall, lanky corner. So he could match up with DK, and I think that, I'm not saying he's going to shut down DK. I'm not saying that at all. But I think he is our best corner at this point, and him matching up with DK, I think that's the best situation. And we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Roberto. Oh, go ahead.
Just speaking of the 49ers secondary, did you get the chance to see Richard Sherman signing with the Bucs?
I did see that. Yeah. I'm happy for Sherm. I'm glad that he's back in the NFL. It's clear that he still wants to play. And the 49ers were interested in Sherm. Obviously, he's not he's not the part of the Legion of Boom. He's not in his prime anymore. There's no doubt he's an all-time great corner. He's going into the Hall of Fame, but he's lost a step. And the Niners were interested, but for whatever reason, Sherm decided to sign with Tampa Bay. I wish the best for him with the Bucs. But we also made some signings as well. So hopefully they turn out well. Roberto says we need to get Debo going earlier in the game. His energy has been to the Niners offense this far. So my question for both of you, Debo or DK, who has the better game against the division rival? What do you think, Aidan?
Let's see. I'm sorry, what was the question?
So who has the better game against the division rival, Debo or DK?
Okay, definitely Debo. DK this season, I'm not gonna bash on him yet, but he hasn't really produced much this season yet. Debo, I can tell his stats are showing it. He's producing this season, so I feel like this is I guess, and I like the matchup between him and our secondary. So I think Debo has the better game here.
Interesting. I'm gonna say Debo. I'm riding with Debo. I think though with DK, you got to worry about that deep ball because Russell Wilson loves to throw the deep ball. DK is one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL, so the 49ers defense will definitely have to be keep an eye out for that on those deep throws with DK. But yeah, I like Debo in the intermediate game. 12 to 15 yards down the field. I think Debo should have a pretty good game, and I'm looking for Ayuk and Kittle to excel as well in this game.
Listening to you name all those weapons, Jay, I'm getting worried here.
Hey, you guys got
might not be a good. Yeah, this might not be a good game for the defense.
Yeah, I think both defenses will struggle. I think both
Yeah.
defenses will struggle this game. I don't think this will be a 14-10 final game at all. This is going to be, early 30, maybe like, 31-28, 31-27, something like that type of game. Because, you got the Seahawks. We know they have a great offense. The 49ers have put up points this season, and I think that will happen again in this game. Blue True. Hot diggity dog. I appreciate that $10 super chat, Blue True. Blue True says, great job at Aidan and at Jay and the Bay. Going to be an exciting game. Go Niners, go Hawks. Absolutely, it will. And I appreciate your support, Blue True. And let's continue on with these comments. Let's see. Niners Sickness says, love the show. I'm driving, so not commenting much, but listening. Hey, I appreciate your support, Niner Sickness. Thanks for tuning in and keep pushing out that excellent 49er content that you got on your YouTube channel as well, man. But I appreciate your support. KD says Green Bay was holding Nick Bosa in that last drive of the game and should be 10 yards back, and 10 seconds should have been took off the clock. I did see that play that you're referring to, and it's, unfortunately, it kind of is what it is. You could probably say that there's a holding call on every single play in the trenches if you really wanted to, and it's unfortunate that the refs missed that call. Let's see. Now, through the first 3 games of the season, Aidan, looks like the Seahawks defense is bottom 5 in pass yards and rushing yards allowed. How do you think the Seahawks can get better in those areas?
Well, I mean, that soft zone coverage Ken Norton Jr. is running with the Seahawks have the past couple of weeks has not been working. Playing 5 yards off the receivers isn't getting the job done. Trey Flowers is getting beat every single week. The Seahawks I feel like they're playing way too careful, too conservative. What I want out of them this week, I want them to play aggressive. Like, dial up the blitzes. Don't play simple. Jimmy G is not good under pressure. So I think we throw all our coins on the table, put everything we have against Jimmy G. And I think the defense either needs to get a lot better at the zone coverage they're running, or we start playing a little more aggressive.
No, that's a good strategy, and especially with Jamal Adams, the big time safety you guys signed. He's the highest paid safety in the NFL. How are you guys going to plan to blitz him more? Because I haven't noticed him blitzing a lot so far this year. Is that something you would do? Blitz Jamal Adams a lot more?
Yeah, definitely. Because, like I said, we're playing too simple. Like, we're trying to rush 4, cover 7. That's clearly not working. I say we dial up the blitz Jamal. I mean, it worked last year, so let's see what it does now.
No, absolutely, I agree, and I think that's Jamal Adams. That's one of his best attributes is getting after the quarterback, being an enforcer, and we'll see if they do that this week. I won't be surprised by that. That's for sure. Now, is there a Seahawks player that's not as heralded as Russ, DK, and Lockett that the 49ers should be concerned about?
I mean, you want to argue Chris Carson, I guess he's pretty underrated. I mean, he's been producing. He struggles to stay on the field, which something I really am frustrated about with him. But when he's on the field, he produces with us. Like I said, he had 80 yards for 6.7 yards per carry last week. So I don't know why we didn't run the ball to him more, because it seems to be working. But Chris Carson, you can call him underrated. You can say he's average, but I feel like he's one of the most overlooked player on this offense.
Yeah, I think Chris Carson is a pretty good back, and when he's healthy, he is productive. How is the wide receiver you guys drafted this year? I think his last name is Eskridge.
Dwayne Eskridge.
Yeah, how is he doing? Because he's supposed to be a speedster. Is he playing much? I haven't really heard too much about him.
Yeah, no, he ran a 4.4 on his 40, really fast receiver. Week 1 against the Colts, he went out.
Oh.
So I think it was on a little jet sweep or something, but he went out. So we haven't seen him for the past 2 weeks. I don't expect him to be back this week either.
Okay, because I know he was supposed to.
So yeah, we're a little banged up right now.
Yeah, because I know he was going to add another element to that offense. So I know it's definitely disappointing for the Seahawks that he won't be there. David says, if the Seahawks lose this, I'm not sold on them making the playoffs. I know it's week 4, but I just don't see them making the playoffs. The division is hella hard. It is really hard, but I would say their season's not over yet. And, it's a long season. It's 17 games. There really is no for sure. You can't rate, even if a team, obviously if a team is 0-4, most likely, their season's probably over. But when you have a talented team like the Seahawks, they're still very talented, and I think they can still be a contender in the NFC West. They just have to get it together. But we'll see, because they're going to be desperate come Sunday, 105 at Levi Stadium, and it's going to be a very, very interesting matchup. Roberto showing love to Aidan. He says, I just subscribed to your channel. And everyone, make sure you check out Aidan's channel, and all his social media, IG, Twitter. All that information is in the description of this video. Make sure you check him out. And also leave a thumbs up for the video. Let YouTube and I know that you're enjoying the live stream. David also says, that's true. The 49ers pass rush is going to help their cornerback so much. That's why I have Seattle losing. Okay. We will see, man. I'm glad that you're confident, though. That's pretty neat. Let's see. Is there a defender on the Seahawks, obviously outside of Wagner or Jamal Adams, that the 49ers should be concerned about?
The first one that comes to my mind is Darrell Taylor, defensive end. He's a second-year rookie out of Tennessee. Okay. He missed the entire last season due to a leg injury, so this is technically his first NFL season. But so far, he's been pretty impressive. 2 sacks through 3 weeks already. Pete Carroll is pretty high on him in his press conferences. So I'm hearing a lot of good things about him. And based off of what I've seen from him this year, being able to blitz the quarterback, getting pressure, to sacking the quarterback, I think he's going to have a good year.
And is he lining up where Kerry Hyder would on the defensive line?
I believe, okay, so our 2 defensive ends are Benson Mayowa and Kerry Hyder and Carlos Dunlap. So we had a rotation going around. So I think Ken Norton Jr., he plays both sides of the line, right, left. But based off of what I've seen from him when he's lined up, I'm pretty sure he's going to line up where Kerry Hyder was.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, I mean, you don't want to ruin this guy's confidence. You don't want him to line up opposite of number 71, the big silverback Trent Williams. I don't think that would be a great matchup for the second-year man out of Tennessee to go up against Trent Williams, one of the best left tackles in the NFL. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he lines up. And Carlos Dunlap, I think he's still a solid player. I know he struggled a little bit so far this year. But last year he kind of revitalized that pass rush, him and Jamal Adams last year. So they just haven't hit their stride yet. That's what I'm thinking. But what number does he wear? So I can keep an eye out for him.
That's a good question. I think he wears number 2, I believe. Actually,
number 2?
No, I'm not sure. Darrell Taylor. Let's go a quick Google search real quick.
Okay. And I gotta say, what's good to the Ramelia Sports Report. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, what's good, my Niner brother at Jay in the Bay. It's all good when we talking about the faithful, the Niner Empire.
Yeah, so Darrell Taylor wears 52.
52. All right. So I got to keep my eye on number 52. And also, in Dunlap, he still wears 43.
No, he wears 8 because of the new rule where they
okay, so he changed it. Okay. Yeah, because I think those, Dunlap and unfortunately Hyder is out. I was looking forward to that reunion, but unfortunately we won't see Hyder out there. Maybe the next time the Niners and Seahawks play, we'll get that reunion. But those are definitely 2 players to watch out for because I'm sure they'll probably be the ones getting pressure. Even though I think the Niners' weakness on the offensive line is their interior offensive line, like the guard, center, guard combination, especially on the right side. So hopefully we can keep Jimmy upright, keep a clean pocket for Jimmy. And if so, I think he can definitely make plays. That's for sure.
Yeah. Another player to keep an eye out. Big Puna Ford, D tackle for the
Mm,
Seahawks. He can get in there. He does a great job clogging up the hole. Every once in a while, he'll get to the quarterback though.
all right, so that would definitely be another matchup to watch out for. Looking forward to that because I know the trenches aren't, it's not glamorous out there. It's not, quarterback, wide receiver talk, but that's where games sometimes are won and lost.
Yeah,
Getting
definitely.
pressure and protecting the quarterback. So, and David says he plays football as well. It's only his freshman year, but he plays lineman, offense and defense, but mostly defense next year. He wants to be a tight end. Well, good luck in playing football, man, and go all out. That's all I would say. Go all out and play every down. At 100%. Continue living your dream, and that's your passion. So continue to go for it, man. Sean, what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, Sean. Hopefully you having a great Thursday night. He says, "Hey Jay, what's good?" And Monty says, "Great to have you on the podcast, Aidan. Great football knowledge." All right,
Thank
man.
you. Yeah, it's good to be on, Jay.
Absolutely, yes. And let's see. Let's go with. So we talked about the offense. We talked about the defense. Now, so who do you think will win the game this Sunday? Seahawks versus 49ers, and why? And then after you say why, provide a score for the game.
Okay, okay. Seahawks. I think the offense bounces back from a disappointing performance. I think they run the ball with Chris Carson a lot this week. I think Chris Carson has a good game with the run game. Russ, I think he takes advantage of that Niners secondary and how they're a little what's the word to describe it?
Banged up,
Yeah, a little banged up,
depleted.
depleted, maybe not that much depth. Defensively, I think the Seahawks they struggle. I think it's gonna be a shootout to the final. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a close game coming down to the final drive. Defense is a struggle. Whoever has the ball last most likely will get the chance to win the game. And the depending factor, turnover battle. It's where games can be won and lost. But out of all that, I think the Seahawks win this week. They bounce back against the 49ers. High scoring game. I think they win 38-35.
Wow, yeah, that definitely is a high scoring game. Um, there's no doubt Russell Wilson and the wide receivers he has are top notch. They are really good. It's going to be hard to contain them. And I think the Seahawks will score most likely a lot of points. I think it will come down to turnovers, which offense has the least amount of turnovers, which defense has the least amount of penalties, who plays disciplined football. I think that's what it'll come down to. I think the 49ers, though, do have an advantage on both sides of the line, on our offensive line going up against your defensive line. I think we're better, and vice versa. I think our defensive line is a little bit better than your offensive line. And hopefully we can get pressure on Wilson, make him throw the ball before he wants to, maybe make him take sacks because he is prone to taking sacks because he loves to throw the ball deep. And maybe we can use that to his disadvantage. And when we're on offense, I think Jimmy G will be protected in the pocket. I don't think we'll be able to run the ball, but we'll see. Our best back right now is Elijah Mitchell, and he was out last game due to a shoulder injury. And he's listed as day to day. We'll see on basically game day or maybe Saturday if he'll be able to play. Hopefully he is because he is the best back right now in the system. If he's not able to go, we'll be relying on Trey Sermon. And for me, Trey Sermon just doesn't have that burst. He doesn't have that speed. But I also think this will be a high scoring game. But I like my 49ers to win 31, Seahawks 27.
Ooh,
That's what I'm taking. But it's going to be a hell of a game. There's no doubt.
yeah, definitely.
Sean says, I'm worried about the defensive line containing Russell Wilson. I think that'll definitely be a problem because he loves to scramble out, extend plays with his legs. And I think he probably will do that against us a few times. We're not going to be able to contain him the entire game. But I think we can do just
Yeah,
enough to squeak by.
yeah.
Um,
Definitely with the 49ers line against the Seahawks line, I think we're going to see Russell scramble a lot. He's going to be under pressure. a good amount of the time. So we'll definitely see Russ scramble. So hopefully that defensive line doesn't contain him.
And a great thing about our defensive line, it is pretty deep. We do have depth. Our defensive line is like 8, 9, 10 players deep. So I think it'll be very imperative for D'Amico Ryans to mix in defensive linemen to keep them fresh, because they're going to be running a lot going up against Russell Wilson. So I think that'll be key as well.
Yeah.
Keeping our defensive linemen fresh. Looks like the Remulia Sports Report has a question for you, Aidan. He says, if the Rams win, the Seahawks lose Sunday, the Hawks would be 3 games back in the division. Are you worried if the Hawks have a disappointing season, Russell may decide to bail next season? Wow.
Yeah, I mean that thought has definitely crossed my mind this week. If the Seahawks lose this game, I think they're still in it. I mean, you can never count the Seahawks and Russ out because they find a way to stay in it. But Russ bailing this season, I don't think so. I mean, Russ has planted a lot of roots in Seattle. I mean, he's opened up charities there. He's got a lot of things going on there. So he's planted a lot of seeds in Seattle that I don't think he'll just leave it all the way. Even though Sierra does want to go to New York, not in the rainy Seattle. But I'm not too worried about Russ bailing yet. I think we take it 1 week at a time, win or loss.
Yeah, there definitely was, some trepidation between, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks in the offseason. And I was happy. I was like, yeah, go ahead, Seattle. Trade Russell Wilson. That would be the worst decision in your franchise history to trade away Russell Wilson. I was hoping they would, but unfortunately that didn't come to fruition. But, yeah, I would honestly, if the Seahawks don't make the playoffs, I would be surprised if Russ stays. I would be a little bit surprised, but it depends on how the season comes to pass, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting offseason, that's for sure. If the Seahawks don't make the playoffs and Russell Wilson is unhappy again for the second straight season, that'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. I know Sierra, his wife, wants to go to a big city, like New York City or something like that. And the Giants are struggling now, so that could be something, to keep an eye on. I know Seahawks fans don't want to hear that, but there's been rumblings about that in the past.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, Minister Brandon, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Minister Brandon. He says, just want to say hello. Have a great night, Jay in the Bay. You do the same, Brandon. Corey Davis has a question for you, Aidan. He says, how did you become a Seahawks fan?
Okay, so this is a pretty funny story, but my family and I, when I was around like 7 or 8 years old, we were on a road trip. We stopped by at a gas station, and I saw that they were selling a bunch of NFL beanies. And my favorite colors were blue and green. So I immediately picked out the Seahawks one. And then one day, I think I saw my dad watching a Seahawks game, and I started watching. And then from then on, just started watching the Seahawks. And then, I don't know, just stuck with them ever since.
Hey, man, that's how sometimes that's how it is, especially as a kid. Sometimes you get hooked on the colors or something like that. Or, when I was young, I really loved the helmets. I really loved the chin strap on the helmet. Some players wore it different. That was something that kind of got me hooked onto football. So, but that's good. That one of my favorite colors is green as well. But of course, I'm a Niners fan. But yeah, that's a cool story of how you became a Seahawks fan. And what year was that? You don't mind me asking, what year did you become a Seahawks fan?
So I was 8 at the time, so I think maybe around 2012,
2012. Okay. So basically, the Seahawks already had Russell Wilson. They already had Pete Carroll, I believe. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think Aidan is. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty cool because basically when you started watching Seattle, they already had Russell Wilson and they already had Pete Carroll. Right?
Yeah.
I think Pete Carroll was there. Yeah. So that's good to hear. David says if the Seahawks do sit everything at Jimmy G at a risk, the 49ers have one of the best offensive line, and when they put in Trey Lance. Now, we haven't talked about Trey Lance at all. What are your thoughts on the 49ers trading up to get Trey Lance. Do you think Trey Lance is better than Jimmy G?
I mean, in my mock draft, I had the 49ers taking Justin Fields at number
Mm.
3. So I was a little shocked when they took Trey Lance. But, I mean, based off what I've seen so far, I think Kyle Shanahan's thrown him there every once in a while, run a couple gadget plays. As of right now, I think it's best as the 49ers just develop him. Jimmy G right now, I think you put your confidence in him. You develop Trey Lance, but in the future, definitely Trey Lance better than Jimmy G.
Yeah, I think Trey Lance is our future franchise quarterback. But I think it depends how the season goes. If we sustain more major injuries to critical players, then it may make sense to just put Trey in. I can see why some people think that. But if Jimmy G continues to win, I think we should just stick with Jimmy G, and there's no need to rush Trey Lance in. But that's definitely been an argument between 49er fans this whole offseason. I would have liked it, or I would say I would understand starting Trey if Jimmy wasn't on the team. So if we traded Jimmy in the offseason in February or March, then I could say, oh, yeah, go ahead and put Trey in. But with Jimmy there, he's a veteran quarterback. You know, he's been, the leader on the team when we had our only winning season under Kyle Shanahan. So I think we should stick with Jimmy. But we'll see how this plays out because I'm sure it's a week-to-week thing. At least that's what some 49ers fans think. But Kyle Shanahan had a press conference today, and he basically said Jimmy's the starter. There is no competition, and he's okay with Trey having limited to no snaps in games so far. So we shall see how this plays out during the season.
Yeah.
Monty Williams has a question. He says, Jay, are you concerned about Kittle's calf injury this week, not playing this Sunday? No, I'm not concerned. I haven't heard that it's an injury that will keep him out of the game. I think it's just a precautionary that he didn't practice. And obviously we'll know as, Friday and Saturday come along. But I haven't heard anything that the calf injury will prevent him from playing. And I hope that's the case, that hopefully he will be ready to go on Sunday. I'm sure Seahawks fans hope he doesn't play.
No, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. There's a little hope.
Yeah, because Kittle, he injured his calf in the last game, and I don't remember what play it was on. I believe he played the entire game, so it must have been something. Your adrenaline's going, you don't feel it, but after the game, you say, "Hey, my calf is hurting more than normal. What's going on?" And so we'll see. Hopefully, this does not prevent him from playing. But from what I've heard, he should be a full go on Sunday. Tommy Huxley, what's good? He says the Seahawks suck. Hey, I appreciate that $2 super chat, man, and I appreciate your opinion on the Seahawks. But they're definitely going to be a tough matchup, Tommy. There's no doubt about that. I don't think the Niners are taking the Seahawks for granted. I don't care what their record is. They will definitely be a problem, come Sunday. That's for sure. And you said, and Aidan, since you said you were a Seahawks fan since 2012, and I have a question for you. Who is on your list of the Seattle Seahawks Mount Rushmore of players? Now, this could be from players that you've seen since you've been a Seahawks fan, or this could be who you think the greatest players, in your team's history. So who are the best 4 players in your mind who ever donned a Seattle Seahawks uniform?
Okay, do you want me to go one at a time, or do you want to just list all of them out?
You go one at a time and then speak to why, or sure, yeah.
Okay, so first up, Steve Largent, wide receiver. I don't know if you know him, but he's a wide receiver for the Seahawks in the 80s. I think at one point he held the NFL record for receiving yards and receptions. And I've heard a lot about him. And based off what I've seen so far, he's probably the best wide receiver in franchise history for the Seahawks so far.
Okay.
Next up.
And he's in the Hall of Fame, right, Steve Largent?
I believe so, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, another Hall of Famer for the Seahawks, Walter Jones, legendary left tackle, NFL Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler, incredible run and pass blocker for the Seahawks. And I think I read something online the other day that if Walter Jones was playing right now with the Seahawks offensive line, he would dominate in the NFL.
Okay.
And then next up, beast mode himself, Marshawn Lynch. I think he was an amazing running back for the Seahawks. He had that beast quake run against the Saints in the wild card round. He was one of the most dominant running backs in franchise history, and we should have gave it to him on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
But yeah, that play sucks. And then last but certainly not least, Russell Wilson. I think that's a given. He led the Seahawks to their first ever Super Bowl. Definitely a Hall of Famer and my favorite Seahawks player.
Nice. That's an excellent list. I forgot about Walter Jones. And obviously he was a great left tackle for the Seattle Seahawks. I believe he played in like the early 2000s, I believe. And I think he was with like Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander, I believe. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was an excellent left tackle. And yeah, I've heard of Steve Largent, Hall of Fame Seahawks player. Probably the best wide receiver ever for the Seattle Seahawks. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, I mean, beast mode, when he came to the Seahawks, he definitely revitalized that franchise. Him, Russell Wilson, and Pete Carroll. And I thought Marshawn, he had a pretty solid career with Buffalo, but his career definitely took off with the Seattle Seahawks, and now he's beloved there. He's a legend there. And also, of course, Marshawn Lynch is originally from Oakland, from the Bay Area, so we love Marshawn Lynch out here. But there's no doubt he's a legend with the Seattle Seahawks. And Russell Wilson, what else is there to say? What else is there to say? So Tommy Huxley says, Jay in the Bay, I'm just talking trash. I'm calling a loss Sunday. Okay, I respect your opinion. Bird Gang 31, what's good? Appreciate you tuning the stream, Bird Gang. Man, too bad your Eagles, man. Whew, they lost 2 straight. Hopefully they can get it together next Sunday. Who do you guys play if you're still on? Let me know in the comments. And it looks like Tommy is offering up his prediction for the game. He's got the Seahawks winning 31-25. Okay. I can respect that, man. I can respect that.
Yeah, definitely 1-score game.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close. And Tommy Huxley says, all right, I'm out of here. I appreciate you coming through to the stream, Tommy. Have a good rest of your night. And I appreciate you coming on to the stream, Aidan. It was great to finally meet you through live stream. I just want to say, hopefully your Seahawks stay healthy for the rest of the season. I'm looking forward to the competition. And the floor is yours now. Any future, or I should say, any Seahawks fans who are here now, what can they look forward to your YouTube channel and your social media? The floor is yours.
Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel. I like post Seahawks content there. I also have a podcast, Hawks Talk. Should be coming back pretty soon, where me and a couple of friends talk about NFL football. You can follow me on Instagram at Hawks Talk AP, and on Twitter, I sometimes post my reactions to Seahawks. And I just wanted to say thank you for having me on, Jay. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely be in touch. Obviously, we know each other well from the Seahawks and 49ers, and I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday. And you continue to have a great week. Stay healthy in football. I know you mentioned your plan, so make sure you stay healthy and go all out. And I appreciate you for coming on. You have a good rest of your week, and I can't wait for the game on Sunday, man. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you. Yeah, you too.
All right, man. You have a good night, man. I appreciate you coming on.
All right.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
All right. So that was Aidan Pham. He's an avid Seattle Seahawks fanatic. Obviously, he's very knowledgeable of his team. He is a young guy, but he knows his Seattle Seahawks. He knows the Seattle Seahawks history. And I'm glad to have him on. We have been following each other on IG and Twitter, going back and forth. And I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday. And check out Aidan. All his social media info is in the description of this video. And he represents the Seattle Seahawks well, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to the game. And I appreciate Aidan for coming through to hang out with Jay in the Bay. And let's see if there's any more comments. Let's see. KD is giving his prediction for the 49ers game and Seahawks game. He's got the 49ers winning 28-24. I can see that. I think it will be a very, very close game, and very competitive. Russell Wilson, he's just a magician. He's a magician in the pocket. He's a problem, and he always gives opposing defenses fits. And how are the Niners going to defend Russell Wilson with our secondary? It's going to be a very difficult matchup. But I'm very eager to see how this plays out. Shout out to everyone who was in the stream tonight. And I appreciate everyone who watched my 100,000 views video on Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. If you haven't, make sure you check it out after this live stream. And for those that have watched it, I appreciate your support. I did mention a giveaway in that video, so make sure you check it out. Thanks for tuning in, Niners Sickness, Big Play Slay, Monica, KD, Roberto, Young Hitter, David, Monty, Rams House, Birdman 951. I appreciate that $5 super chat, KD. Let's see, Roberto, Ramelia Sports Report. I appreciate that $10 super chat, Blue True. Sean, thanks for tuning in. Minister Brandon, Bird Gang 31, Tommy Huxley. And looks like Monty gives his opinion of the 49ers and Seahawks game. He's got the 49ers winning 24-21. All right. And I can't say it again. I'm looking forward to the game. I will have a pregame live stream at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we can talk about the latest news from the 49ers and Seahawks. We can also go over, maybe 5 things the 49ers need to do to win the game against the Seahawks. I will also have a post-game live stream. We'll talk about, it'll basically be a reaction to the game. That'll be on shortly after the game is over. And I appreciate all the support. Shout out to everyone watching Jay and the Bay Facebook, Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. Hopefully everyone has a great night, and hopefully everyone has a great payday Friday. And have a great weekend. Stay safe. And game time is less than 72 hours away. And go Niners. And shout out to you, Aidan. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Thanks for coming on and representing your Seahawks. And check out Aidan on social media. As I mentioned before, all his links, social media links, are in the description of the video. And hopefully everyone have a great night. I appreciate everyone watching and supporting Jay in the Bay. Much love. And I will see you guys in the next one. Go Niners. And I appreciate everyone coming on. Go Niners. I'll see y'all in the next one.